All right, good afternoon, Lubbock, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Second Sessions. Today is Monday, September 23rd, and we have a very unique band here with us today, and they have lots to probably share with us. So first, as long as, we know how to interview correctly.
As long as
we do not know.
As long as
okay.
Dan lets them talk.
All right, well, Yeah, so I'm Dan, and last time my co-hosts were mad at me because I have to apologize. I did not introduce them, so we're going to make things right today. So introducing
Michael.
Steven.
And they weren't even ready. That's so lame. Anyways, we're moving on. Okay, so I'd like to introduce, if I will, Dr. Felicia Brojas.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a band now. How do you say it?
Oh,
Wait, I've got this.
You just said her name.
Is it AoE?
yes.
AoE.
Age of Empire?
I thought so, because the O is lowercase.
Yes.
Okay, so I thought I was maybe saying it wrong, but I didn't know another way to pronounce it, so I assumed it was AoE.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it stands for area of effect. It's like a video gaming term about
Empires,
like, when you have like an attack or like a heals that like, affects everybody within like a certain area. That's what that means.
See,
that's where that comes from.
This is Michael's territory. And Steven too, but Michael's definitely tuned into what y'all are doing. He's all about these kind of stuff.
Sweet.
So being that, before we go any further, tell us a little bit about your band.
Okay, so AoE is basically an anime and video game music cover band. We play like anime OPs and endings, and we're working on some video game medleys to put together. And we're like a 5-piece band, so I do lead vocals, front person stuff, but also electric violin. And then, we've got Justin's our guitar player, and he's badass. So he does like a mix of rhythm and lead guitar stuff, and also does some backup vocals. And we're going to work on doing some songs where he's doing lead vocals and he's making the face. And then my husband, Corey, is the drummer. And then we've got a keyboard player named Charles, who's amazing.
In charge.
Yes, in charge. The wizard. We call him the wizard because he's like a badass sight reader, but also a badass improv player, which like that never happens. So like he's an anomaly. And then we got this awesome bass player who's actually like a middle school band teacher.
Oh, cool.
And he's really cool. We like him.
Can we get his number?
So you like her? They like their bass player. I just had to throw that out
Air the
there.
laundry out.
Dirty.
So this is a very unique thing to Lubbock. I've never actually heard of it really anywhere. I know there's a market, and I'm sure it exists, but never had someone to especially come in here. And so how did all y'all meet? Like, how did y'all have this common interest?
Most of us met going to school at Tech. 4 out of 5 of us are graduates of Texas Tech School of Music. So my husband and I, we met like toward the end of my doctorate. I finished in 2015. And then we moved to LA and came back. And then like a couple of our friends were still here, still finishing their degrees and stuff. So Charles and Eddie were still around, and we played. We all play for Moonlight Musicals like a lot. So we were playing a Moonlight Musicals show together with Eddie and Charles, and I was talking about I really want to do this band. Like we had this idea while we were in LA, and like we weren't able to do it because LA is really expensive. Nobody has time for like new projects where like you don't have gigs up front. And so it was really hard to get that going over there. And they were both like, that sounds really cool. Let's do it. And we had a hard time finding a guitar player. Our first guitar player, he was just temporary because he was also a music ed major, and he moved back to San Antonio to do his student teaching and stuff. And then we had another guitar player for our second show that he goes to Berkeley. So he was here. Our show was in like August, like right before he had to go back to school. So like he was around for that show, but he's like, I can't be a regular guitarist. And then we found Justin, who's amazing and teaches at the School of Rock.
Right.
I posted like on the Facebook Lubbock Musicians page, and that's how we found Justin, and it's been such a great fit. We really enjoy having him. He's legit, man. We love him.
I think you're the first guitar player that I've seen that is not temporary. I thought all guitar players
You're
were
pretty
temporary.
temporary.
I mean,
Yeah, we were going 11 years temporary with you.
Temporary.
how long have you been teaching at the School of Rock?
4 years or so.
Okay, is pretty cool. I mean, I know a few people that go there, and it seems like a really cool thing. I wish I would have had some kind of outlet like that growing
I
up.
say the same
Yeah,
thing
you
all the
might have
time.
been worth
Yeah.
it, though.
Might have been worth something now.
And the school rock's pretty cool. A few years ago, Steven and I were trying to start like a side production thing, and we were going to do this battle of the bands kind of thing. And we went, and it was when I first heard about School of Rock, and this was probably like 8 years ago, so it's been some time.
It's been
but
a while, yeah.
I went up there and was like, say, hey, is anyone here? I don't think it was really like something that they were interested in, for what, or it didn't work, but they were really nice and they gave me a tour of the place anyways. Like, hey, this is what we do. And it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like an after school program, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so just to have something that's not like the YMCA, where you can actually, teach kids something they're interested in. And I've done some stuff at SPC for sound technology. Graduated back last December, and I was doing my A for V class, and I had to do. We had to pick a set for our end of the semester thing, and there was all these bands, and School of Rock is one of them because they always come for that. And I was talking to my teacher, Dolph, and he's like, dude, if you want, sign up for School of Rock. He's like, they'll be the best. And he's like, the reason why is because we have jobs, we're adults, and these kids just do their craft. He's like, they'll be the best. And I signed up, and they sure enough, they were awesome. Yeah, they were great musicians, and it was fun to watch and mix them. I like that.
Yeah.
So what do you do
Working
out
with
there?
kids is cool. I mean, I teach guitar, bass, and voice. Some of my students are like multi-instrumentalists, and whenever I have someone who does like 3 different things on all these different songs for their group, those lessons function a little differently than whenever you have someone who just does one thing and is really focused on that one thing. You kind of have to teach them to be efficient within the environment. Like, they're serving all these different purposes, and they have so many jobs, and you have to focus on really a lot of like, this is how you do it, not necessarily like all of the back end of the, hey, we're gonna spend all of this time on this one little skill set for this one instrument. You have to trust those kids that they're gonna go home and do all of that themselves, and you're just giving them these stepping stools to just keep moving forward with, knowing that they're putting in the time themselves. So I have a lot of students that are like that, but I also have 7-year-olds, 72-year-olds.
Wow.
Yeah, John, he's my oldest student. He's great. He's like one of the other cases where he just plays guitar. He takes 2 lessons a week. It's a lot of time, so we spend like an hour and a half together every single week just working on maybe just one song, maybe, I mean, we go real slow, different pace for every person. Everyone learns differently, is at a different part in their journey with everything. And then I also run the performance groups with the little kids, so we have like a band program for them where they get to just be in a band with everyone once a week. We rehearse, we play 2 shows every 4 months. They get to be on like huge stages like at Charlie B's with the lights and the LED, TV screens behind them and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. And I'm sure it's like when you leave, it's like maybe not satisfying, but to be able to encourage and inspire kids, you leave. I mean, maybe not every day, but at least you're like, hey, I'm doing something important, and you're not maybe too mentally exhausted from your day. It's kind of cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, I love it. It's also given me the ability to have the lifestyle that I have where on weekends I'm traveling with country bands or something, and then we have our stuff come up or studio time or whatever it may be, something like this. The school is they always work with me as far as allowing me to still be a musician and do whatever I need to do, but also know that I have some stability with some kind of job.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Right. Yeah, that's all.
I like the whole
Yeah.
concept of that because, I mean, growing up, we didn't have.
No, that's
No,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying. Like,
you go
I had the
outside
YMCA.
and-
And it must be really cool to work with Jack Black. I mean, he's
Right.
got to be
Yeah.
really. I mean,
Dude, you
know.
stole my line, man.
My
Oh.
coworkers actually acts just
Can't
like
work
that
with
guy. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
So I was on y'all's website and I checked it out, and y'all are doing an EP right now. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
Okay, so we're doing like a 6-song EP, mostly anime music, but we're doing the theme from the first Kingdom Hearts game also. So
Sweet.
That's gonna be cool.
yeah, and one of the other songs that we've included is most recently they've done like a reboot, like a redo of Fruits Basket, which is like this really cutesy anime from like the 90s, and it's got amazing voice actors like Laura Bailey, and she's like bonkers, so amazing. But I think that's gotten to be pretty popular. I think it just finished like a couple months ago, the first season, so we're doing the OP from that. I can't remember what else Super Mario Odyssey theme.
I wondered.
Yeah.
You had to throw that in there.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
it's important.
Exactly.
So y'all do a lot of it's theme music from video games.
Yeah.
You were talking about like intros and outros and stuff for
Yeah.
video games. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is there a way for people to listen to it? Like, do y'all have anything on YouTube or?
That is why we're doing the EP.
Sounds
We
good.
have-
Yeah, I was just checking.
Yeah, we have like one video up on YouTube from our very first performance. That like it didn't come out so great. It was like the very first song on the first show, and then my brother, God love him, I got him to record everything on my iPad, but he recorded everything vertical video, and then like.
That piece of shit, I would.
Why are you pointing at me?
We've had that issue before.
I don't think that was me.
This is pretty much why we don't give me anything like that.
Why won't it expand?
But like it was all vertical, and I had to figure out in like Premiere Pro how to turn it into a horizontal video from the vertical video that I had, and it just took so much time.
Yeah,
I didn't do
and a lot
any
of
of the other
effort and work,
songs. Yeah, he recorded like the whole show, and I was like, it's too much work just to do the one video. I don't
Right.
want to do the other like 12.
That was dang.
It's terrible.
So y'all do like specific venues in your kind of,
Yeah, so we basically kind of cater to the anime convention type deal, or Comic Cons, or like video game conventions, stuff like that. But we haven't done, but it's been something that we've talked about doing, possibly like bars, like there's Kong's, or what was the other one that we talked about?
I think Ohm was the other place
Ohm.
that had like an anime.
I've
night
heard of
not too
Ohm.
long.
They
We
have
have
an
that right
anime
there.
night, yeah. So like we've talked about the possibility of doing stuff like that, or doing like First Friday Art Trail. But in order to get stuff like that, you have to have an EPK. So
Yeah.
that's why we're working on that, to have material to be able to share with people and grow
where
our
are y'all
fan base.
recording it? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to tell me.
Oh yeah,
Keep it a
we're
secret.
doing it at Studio 19.
Okay,
That's what
yeah,
I
with
was wondering.
James.
Yeah, James. Yeah,
We
and
had James on a couple of podcasts ago. Yeah.
yeah, and Corey and I are really good friends with James's parents, because they're his dad is a professor at Tech. So he's friends with Corey's dad, who's also a professor at Tech, and then his wife is out at South Plains, and they're just really sweet people. And then we heard that James was the recording engineer over at Studio 19, and we were like,
He's the man.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's very
okay,
good.
that makes sense. And we hadn't met him, and so we were like, oh, okay, small world. That's pretty cool.
We've had
That's
a lot
awesome.
of encounters with him over time. And
Well, he tried out to be our singer.
He did
at one
once.
point in time. Yeah.
And we first met him when he was doing Live Sound. He was actually our first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he came in and was like, "Hey, man, we would love to have you, because he's done so much and he knows so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Toured, recording,
informative, dude.
He's
live
Like,
sound.
he knows what he's
And,
talking
and he
about.
does. And
Absolutely.
he's like that perfect nerdy guy to talk to about anything, like especially with like electronics, Pro Tools, not just Pro Tools, but like any kind of software. I mean, that guy knows.
Dude,
his
I was
stuff.
talking about my cab over there needing some work done. He went all the way down to like how the plywood was made. Like,
my
I was
God.
like, okay, dude, all I've seen is it
He
crackles
will.
a little bit.
Oh, I believe it. Oh my God, he knows so much.
And it just goes to show that, like, especially in Lubbock, because it's not very big here, as far as like the music scene, it's kind of limited. But
Yeah.
everyone knows each other somehow, or at least you will, if you keep in your
Right.
craft, And
That's a good thing about Lubbock. Though.
It is.
Or a smaller, center for
yeah,
it. It's a really good thing.
It's just the only pullback is, it just, if you want to do it as a career, there's not as many openings. You know, you have to kind of like, especially, we have to like be, like you said, at School Rock, you just can't do your one thing. You have to you might
Oh,
want
you got to be diverse for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
might want to be doing like live sound, but you might find yourself in a studio, or even
Yep.
just repairing guitars.
Right.
Anything.
Hey,
you
there's
can
nothing
do.
wrong with that.
Exactly.
Nothing that, but you just have to say, hey,
You hear the way he said that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he was like disc
No
on
one
it. I was
likes
like,
guitars.
dude, was that shot at me?
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
But that's how you have to kind of be.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to kind of wear many hats, and we all do. Like, so Corey is a drummer, and he plays for like Moonlight, and he does some work with area churches. But like his day job is he builds sets for Moonlight musicals. So he's a carpenter also.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about Moonlight musicals? Because
I want to know too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. go ahead.
Moonlight Musicals is a company my dad started about like 13, 14 years ago because he teaches voice at Texas Tech. He got tired of having to send his students to different parts of the country during the summer to find other performing opportunities. He's like, I'm going to make a thing here. So we started doing shows out at Mackenzie Park. There's an amphitheater out there. It was just a concrete slab 13 years ago. Over the course of time, it's been built up. So there's roof over the whole place. There's buildings. It's got infrastructure. We're adding all these different lights and sound and everything. So it started out really small scale and has got to the point of, we're doing like big scale productions out at the Civic Center. Like just as good as anything that's going to come through with like a touring Broadway show.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I've gone and seen several of them. Me and my wife, we love to go watch stuff like that, and it is awesome. It's something to go do. I mean, it's really pretty good. I mean,
yeah. Did you see Mamma Mia?
No, I missed that one. Well, my wife was killing me on that one because she loves that.
We just closed Mamma Mia. That show
It did
was
really
insane.
well. It did so well.
The band on stage was nuts.
Yeah, so we were both playing in it, and a bunch of other friends were playing it. Charles was playing in it.
What did y'all do in it? Like, you're saying you're playing in it. What did y'all do?
Oh, so
I played drums for it. She played violin for it. So.
Electric violin? Is that what you were talking about earlier?
I was gonna, but I have to send my electric in for some work, and they can only do it in like New York, so
Aliens
I gotta mail
have to
it.
work on it and stuff.
New York City.
Not many people know that joke. I've tried that before, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" It's a salsa thing,
Did he just get a pop culture reference
He
there?
did? Oh, yes.
They make fun of me because they think I don't know anything.
He doesn't know.
like
Well,
anything about
I
pop
know.
culture.
Well, from the 80s and 90s.
I
It
was
was like
born in
childhood
82.
skipped you somehow.
He did.
So
He
weird.
was
But like
very
Ghostbusters, he's like,
sheltered
Ghost
life.
too?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, me too. So I
it's not
feel
that
you.
bad.
I feel you.
I
It's
saw
okay.
the one with the girls, right? And I was like, no, I'm just kidding. That was the first one, right?
To the moon!
Anyways, so again, when I was going to your site, are y'all with a record label?
That's my own sole proprietorship that I
though.
started. Yeah.
Do it, because we actually did that too.
Yeah.
When we were first putting our stuff together, but I had to ask. I was like, because that's super cool if you can but doing your
Yeah.
own thing, because that even opens some doors there.
Oh, absolutely. So, kind of one of my long-term plans is, once we have, regular stuff happening with AoE, that we can start turning Counterspell Records into not just like our own record label where we
I
we
love
use
that
the
name, by
name.
the way.
I know, I'm writing that
Counterspell's
down,
so cool.
actually.
Thanks.
Spell it right.
Where
though.
we use
Dude, I
it
know how to
to
spell.
put out our music, but we could also use it as like a management company also and manage other artists. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. Or maybe even have our own recording facility or like rehearsal spaces that people
Sure.
can rent out, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of possibilities. But you have to have cash flow first. So
And that could help.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the truth.
It almost fuels itself. And
Absolutely.
Gotta have
that
that
would be
moon
fantastic.
That's the name of my side
Yeah.
band, Cash Flow.
Cash flow.
cash flow. Gotta have that cash flow.
Cash flow problem.
We don't play
That's the
anywhere.
first song.
It doesn't work out very well.
If
We
I
got
had $1
one
million.
string.
Dan looked at me like he didn't get it. He was like, "You have another band, dude?"
I don't want to talk about it. So when you're doing this and with AoE, like who do you consider to be inspirations for your band?
Oh, that is a good question.
It's like really good.
I actually wrote that down.
I didn't see that on the
It's the anime and the video games themselves. Like there are some people that kind of do what we do, but like not quite, because most of the people who are in our genre and like are running, the convention circuit and stuff, they're just individual artists that like sing to tracks. I think we're one of the only bands that actually like an actual 5-piece
Y'all
band.
actually
You can
Like,
go ahead and say
we
it.
can
They
actually
blow. Go
all
ahead and say
play.
it.
Like where we have a full group that actually all plays and sings and does cool stuff. Usually it's just one person singing to a track, and so that's a little bit different
It's
from
like karaoke, almost,
Yeah.
to a
And
certain
there-
extent.
We've also
There are a
played
couple.
at a convention where there was a person, no names, no nothing, but there was a person there who was performing also, and they had a track, but they also didn't even sing.
They just stood there?
Did they go Milli Vanilli on it?
The track had the vocals in it and everything.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It
Wow.
was just kind of like a charade kind of thing, and I was kind of blown away by that.
Straight up
Lip
Milli
singing.
Vanilli, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lip syncing is
lip
really-
syncing all the So it gets kind of weird, but I know that there are a few other bands. Like I can't remember the name, and James told us about him. James knows everything. But like there's a band that plays all Transformers stuff from like the 80s.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name though.
But groups like that are very few and far between, and I don't know how much that group actually tours. So, but they specialize in one anime's music. But like ours is a little bit different.
Specific niche
it's very
type
specific,
thing,
yeah. Which you kind of need to be pretty, niche, like
Or you
in
could
order
be
to.
very successful, or just you're gonna bomb like crazy.
It's true. It's true, and they have all
'Cause
the
if you do it right,
cosplay.
Good job,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
I
and
mean, 'cause
they do
once
all the
Optimus
cosplay and
dies, you're kinda
everything.
out of it.
It's like outrageous, but I wish I could remember. Y'all need to ask James later because I can't remember the name of the band, but they're, oh my God.
Jaime Gilbert. That's his French.
He has this thing where he says everything backwards.
That's not backwards French, bro.
That's French,
okay.
dude.
Well, it sounded like it was
God.
backwards to me.
Good
Voulez-vous
mess.
coucher, man?
Read a book, man.
Dang.
So, y'all do this, and is it because y'all like comics, or did y'all do like LARPing type stuff, or like how did this become your avenue?
I have never LARPed.
I mean, do y'all go to
Did any of us
Comic-Con?
ever
Do y'all go
LARP?
to Comic-Con or anything? Like any of y'all big comic fans? We're comic nerds. Like
Yeah, I'm a
we
straight up
love
nerd.
everything Marvel, DC, everything.
I'm a
Legos?
little bit on the manga. Are you super into?
Japanese
Mostly just
porn,
anime
yeah.
nerds.
Yeah, mostly just anime and video games. This one's the big video game guy here. He's always playing something. Right now, he's like all the time playing WoW, classic
World of
WoW,
Warcraft classic.
that just
Yeah,
came out.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they just brought that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
they just brought it
15-year-old
back.
game.
Somebody
it's back,
asked me one
baby.
day if I liked WoW, and I was like, "Is that a new drug?" I was like, I was like, "No, man, I don't want what you're selling."
right.
dude."
Well, it is.
I still don't know. I don't know.
World of Warcraft, man, come on.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
got it. See, we talked about it for 10
See,
minutes.
now you finally got it.
See, sometimes he embarrasses me. I can't take him out in public.
This
Oh,
is when I
sad.
edit Michael out.
Yeah.
But back to like the inspiration for it, or like what drew us to it, is like we're just big anime nerds, and all these shows have really cool music.
Oh, yeah.
Starting them out, and like I have so many friends that they had like, especially back in high school, like they had so many burned CDs of like, oh yeah, this is from Naruto, this is from Full Metal Alchemist, this is from this show, yada
See,
yada yada.
I like
And
the
it's
stuff
like
from Full
people-
Metal, man. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
Full
people
Metal Alchemist
love that
is
music,
awesome.
and I'm like,
Death
I
Note.
want
there
to
was
play
some good
that
stuff.
music.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but when are you gonna get a chance to play that music ever?
Yeah, because it's very specific to that game.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's very,
So
you don't
not
hear it on
gonna-
the radio.
You're not
you
going to
don't-
get to play it. No one's going to call you up to
Right.
play an anime gig. So it's like, all right, well, let's just do it then.
Yeah.
I think
Let's
it's
just
really
make it
cool.
ourselves.
Like I was so
Thanks.
excited to have y'all come in
I'd go sit-
because
I'd
we're
go sit through the
comic
whole show.
freaks. Like I want to go see y'all.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah.
Are y'all playing anytime soon? Anywhere that we might be able to see y'all?
Not anything that we have scheduled yet, but we're hoping to have some things scheduled soon. Like I said, like that's the point of having the EP, so that we can send our stuff out to different places and say, hey, let's like.
So y'all are open
set
to
something up.
options.
Oh yeah,
We
absolutely.
come across shows all the time. You know,
Yeah.
if y'all are ever interested in stuff. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is it like being in a band of what y'all do in Lubbock?
I've talked to a couple of different guys that I've played with, specifically over like the summer about this, and you know sometimes I'd play rodeos and things like that with other bands, and you go and some nights like they love you, and then some nights like they're just not really that into it, and you kind of have to deal with that kind of stuff. But I feel like with what we do, when we show up and we start playing, like there's a bunch of people that know the words to the songs, and the melodies.
Yeah.
And, like they're excited just to hear the music around them.
You've got a lot more outlets too that are hooking into these kids now. Cause like my son got into it by Hulu, those kind
Yeah.
of those. They show a bunch of them, and man, my kid, he'll sing them word for word. Like I'll bring him to your
That's
show.
awesome.
He'll be sitting there. He'll be the 6'8".
he is a ginormous
Dude up there
kid.
singing
I'm not
and
even
stuff.
joking. He's like
No.
6'8". He is a ginormous person.
Awesome.
But yeah,
He's
whereas
cool,
I'm the more
coolest dude
video
you'll ever
game
meet.
comic end of it, my
And
son
he's
is
super anime.
Anime, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and I was one of those kids. Like I was learning the words like in middle school. I knew all the words to all my favorite anime songs, and then like that's where I got the idea for this band. Is I really wanted to do it when I was in high school, and like I didn't have anybody to do it with. Everybody that I knew that played like rock band instruments, like they already had their own bands, and I was like, hey, you want to do this thing? And they're like, well, no, we need to concentrate on our own band and our own music, but thanks for asking. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just table this, thanks. And then it wasn't until we were in LA and I was working with for like a year and a half, we were in LA, and I was working with this 2-time Grammy Award-winning all-female mariachi group called Mariachi Divas.
Yeah, very nice.
And I was missing something. Like, the music is fun. It's, salsa, cumbia, mariachi, all this. It's like a fusion type group, and it was really fun and engaging. But like, there was something missing. And then I was like, well, maybe I need to start my own band. Like, what do I need to do? What kind of band should I make? And then, like, it hit me, and I was like, oh, my favorite thing that I wanted to do, like, 10 years ago. Hey, I should go ahead and do that thing now, because now I know people.
Why not? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just, the music is just so fun and, like, uplifting or, like, hype or like really sentimental, and it's not like cookie cutter like stuff that you hear on the radio in the U.S. now.
That's exactly what
it's
I was
like
going to say.
very,
I
very
think that's why I'm
cookie
so
cutter.
intrigued by it, because it's not agendified.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
runs the
anything
gamut.
Like that. Yeah.
The whole gamut of emotions. That's what I like about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And you've got like these beautiful soulful ballads that have like these intricate harmonic progressions that like we're not using in the U.S. right now. Like nobody does that.
The Japanese have a very specific style of doing anime or video games, and it is really cool to go and like research it and look into it. And,
Oh yeah.
I got introduced there with the Final Fantasies.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, just playing that and the music, man, it just takes you to a whole different world. I mean, it was really cool. I mean,
Absolutely, it's beautiful music.
There's people like that really into anime are like people that are into anime. Like, okay, so like
Into it.
Like
yeah.
there's such a
Very profound.
like you said, you're like a niche almost, and that can actually be so specific that it helps you. And
Absolutely.
I also bartended at this bar
If
in
you
town.
do it good.
And there was this guy that used to come in a long time,
What, bartend?
and one day he just asked me, he's like, "Hey, dude, are you into anime?" And I'm not really big into anime. I watched some stuff growing up, but I was never like really hooked on it. And he got
Right.
so offended. He's like, "You don't watch anime?" He's like, "I don't think I can be friends with you anymore." and I was like, "I'm sorry, man. I'll serve you another beer though for cool." But
We know a
That's
couple of dudes
everybody,
that are
you
like
know.
that. Like if you don't, they're almost kind of like,
Right.
I don't have room for
they
you in my
almost
life.
Yeah.
lose respect for you.
Sometimes, yeah. But like the thing about anime is there's something for everybody. There are so many different genres
man,
of
yeah.
anime. And there's something out there for everybody. So like if you've watched anime and it's not really spoken to you before, you probably just haven't been watching the right thing.
But some of it's so like you. I think that's a good point. I have
Yeah.
watched some that like stick in my mind today, and it's like the animation alone is pretty cool. And
what was
it
that
can-
one you
Ronin
turned-
Warriors, dude.
What was the movie
95,
one you told me?
1995.
The
You
one
remember
where-
Ronin Warriors?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
Dude,
my god, I've
here.
never seen
Because
that.
I Air
Oh, they can't reach the
Air 5.
Yeah, make it happen.
I looked
Yeah.
them up the other day, man, and I actually watched the whole first season.
What was that one, guys?
good.
What was
Funny
that
how
one where they were playing the video game? Remember that?
Man, I got that in my head.
There's a
now.
movie, and they were in like a video game, and they had to win it.
Lawnmower Man.
No, it's on Netflix. You turned me on to like Gazer.
Oh, Gantz Point
Yeah,
Zero.
Gantz Point Zero.
Oh,
If
I don't
y'all-
know that one.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down for you.
It is
have
cool.
to watch
Like,
it.
it is cool.
Like it's all animation, but it is so real, and the
Yeah.
story is great. They don't miss anything. It is just so fantastic. I'll
Oh,
write it down
cool.
for you. Gantz Point
Nice.
Zero. If anybody's listening, that
Yeah,
wants to watch
absolutely.
that, it's great.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best things I've seen. in a
But
long
yeah,
time.
there's like, fighting anime like DBZ or like robots like Gurren Lagann. They call it mecha. There's, there's girly
Love the
anime.
robots, don't they?
shoujo. Yeah. Shoujo anime. There's, shonenai, which, we won't talk about that. But there's like a lot of different stuff, and it really just depends on like the kind of thing you're interested in, and there's something out there
Yeah,
for everybody.
I
There really
agree
is.
with that for sure.
Maybe
Yeah.
not for Dan.
No, there's something out there for
She
Dan.
just said,
He likes
Michael,
it.
there's something
There's
for
something for
everybody.
I
everybody.
don't know.
You just need to find it.
Y'all
We're
just
just
met
ragging
him.
on Dan.
They do. This is what I get, because I sit in the back on the drums. They think that I'm not important.
Well,
It's only when you stop making noise that we're like,
The one thing I
something's
need.
wrong
That's my
here,
job.
man.
I get it. I get it. So, all right.
So, what is y'all's maybe perception of the local scene here in Lubbock, or your experiences maybe that y'all have had, if whatever it is.
You want to take that?
And you can be honest.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Be
of
100%
this.
honest.
Don't
I mean,
filter
yeah.
yourself.
There's a lot of opportunities for musicians in this town. A lot. And you compare that to any other city within a 4 or 5 hour radius. Like this is probably the place to be, for this area. But because it is like such a bubble.
We're called the hub.
The hub.
Yeah,
People
Hub
that have been
City.
here
The hubba bubble.
have been here, long time. You got people like Sean Frankhauser and Jesse Ballou and John Sprott and JT Paz and all these guys that have been
JT
here
Paz.
forever. And they can play. John, they call him the human jukebox. Like they can just play anywhere, make whatever crowd they're playing for happy. And those guys have had their gigs for 20 years, booked the same nights, the same places, and they're gonna have those gigs
For as long as they want. Yeah.
Like,
Until they say, hey, I don't
so
want
there
to do
are
it anymore.
tons of opportunities, but at the same time, like there are so many musicians that have been here for so long that if you're not kind of one of the big wigs, it's real tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And then from my experience, I have to play genres of music that I don't necessarily enjoy as much personally just to survive, But of course we all do. I don't know if you guys love to just listen to musicals all day long, but like we all play musicals.
Sometimes I do.
Actually, I was like,
But we were talking.
I just want to dance.
I've been in some old metal bands, like we were talking about the one that I was in like 2013, 2014.
Uprising.
Yeah,
What
the
you're talking about,
Uprising, and it's
that's a
it's
blast
rough
from
to
the
make it in an original rock or metal band.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard in this town. Really difficult.
Ooh, yeah, I think he said that well.
Yeah, you
It
gotta
is.
hit
For
that,
original stuff, it's really
Yeah.
hard. The cover stuff, like you're saying, you can get gigs if you.
yeah.
Man, if you're like a walking jukebox, which we know a couple of people that are like that, then you can play anywhere in town.
Well, you
and
kind of
actually make money.
You hit on it earlier too when you said you'll get some nights where they're really into it, and then you'll get the crowd that's like, okay, what did you even come to this show for? You
Right.
know, but it's very hit or miss sometimes here in Lubbock.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even in LA, like when we had Divas shows, and Divas, they have such a huge loyal following, like they'll play shows, and they do so many over town that maybe the market is just oversaturated because they're playing all those concerts in the park all the time, all summer long. But and then they have Disney. But we would have shows at Disney or at a concert in the park or even on tour where the crowd is just not responsive, and you're like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Our music is fun. Why don't y'all interact with us, please? We need you. Do something. And it's the same. And I had a gig this past week, not 2 weekends ago, in Austin with another group called Tequila Rock Revolution, and it was the same stuff. It was like, man, give me something. But then you get to the end of the show, and people come up to you, and you're like, oh, your performance was just so beautiful. I enjoyed it so much. It was just so amazing. Thank you so much. Blah blah blah. And they really enjoyed it, and it's like, dude, why didn't you show it?
Right.
I could have used that, because the audience's response, kind of fuels your performance.
Absolutely.
And you got this loop going on where, you're just constantly feeding each other, with energy. But, if the audience doesn't respond, it just kind of feels like, yeah.
We and you said in California, right?
Yeah.
When we went out to California, somewhere in Southern California, I don't remember.
Long Beach.
Long Beach.
It was Long Beach. Okay, so we did 2 back-to-back shows, and it was
Well, we
literally
did, what, 4 of that?
Well, we did 4, but I'm talking that there was 2 that we did one day and the next day, and they were kind of added last minute. And it was literally on the pier, it was at the very edge of the pier.
It's on the main pier. It's like a
We had to
half a
carry
mile
all
out.
our
You have to
crap
walk.
down that long
That's a
pier.
long
Oh,
way.
God.
Yeah.
It did kind of, and they had this thing going on. It's like this pirate ship
Yep.
thing.
Pirates
where,
of the Caribbean. They were all
everyone's dressed as mermaids,
cosplaying.
pirates.
It was
pirate
actually
ships.
pretty cool.
They had mermaids
but-
swimming around
So we're
that
doing
pier.
metal right in the middle of a bunch of. That was kind of cool though. But right in a bunch of pirates.
That's the best show
Well,
ever.
okay.
Standing out on the pier playing. I'm not even joking.
And to
That's
go
cool,
with
man.
exactly what you're saying though, because the first time we did a show, we did the same set both days. And the first day we played it, we got nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. We thought
Like,
it just sucked.
Man,
Yeah,
Cal,
like,
I
go
don't know
home.
about this.
We were bummed. We go back the second day thinking,
Walk the
"Man,
plank."
these people just don't care. And then it was a complete 180 on the response. And then we walked away thinking, well, thank God.
Thank
Like,
goodness. We might move here.
someone likes us.
People like it here.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's from show to show. You never really know.
You never know.
You kind of have to give it your all, even though you're not feeling it.
I just
Yeah.
think they hit the
No.
rum a little sooner that second day. I think.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah,
extra
the show was a
happy.
little later in the day. It's hard to
Where's
play a
the
6
rum?
a.m. show and people get into it, which we did do. We played a 6 a.m. show on the beach. Remember?
It was a fun run.
Oh
It was-
no!
God.
Yeah, they did.
It was on the beach.
So I'm literally on a sidewalk screaming at people while they're running.
Dude, I
Like,
remember
come on.
our bass player at the time, we were all just so tired. Everybody's tired. Everybody's wanting to run. And he goes, dum dum.
He started playing the Jaws theme and stuff. Yeah.
And some dude actually got upset. He was like, that's not funny, dude.
It's
There's
not
a
funny.
shark,
There's
there's a shark out there. I was like,
They
dude,
exist.
come on. Man.
Yeah,
I laughed. I thought it was great.
That was, I mean, that was a fun experience. And we got like, it was like one main show that we were doing, but then like the guy that was booking it, he's like wanted to make it worth us. He's like, I got this, I got this.
The
I got
main
this.
show was fun.
Right.
Man, that was good.
The rest
Yeah.
that was an experience.
It was a lot of fun.
Sometimes
that
that
fun run was
happens.
interesting.
Sometimes that
75% of that trip in the car, so it wasn't all that fun.
You know what though?
Oh.
What made the fun run just great for me is when we hit that one heavy part and it scared the crap out of that one dude and he tripped.
Like people were running towards
into
the finish
sand
line and we
stuff.
hit
So I
that
was
and they were like,
I got him!
going off.
Got him!
That was our very first experience playing two people in California. It was,
Got him!
but and this one guy got mad. Well, no, he came up. This is an older guy. He came up after we played our set, and he said y'all did good. And then but I'm from a generation where the drummer doesn't have to make himself known. And I was like,
Yeah, like he took a punch at you.
Yeah,
I was like,
Oh my God!
We were trying to figure out what he meant though, because this dude, he doesn't ever make himself known. So that was kind of a puzzler
Dan is a
for us.
phenomenal drummer, by the way. Like spectacular drummer.
We got to say something good about him every once in a while.
I got to
Hype
give
me
you
up a
credit.
little bit before
I got to
you-
give you credit every once in a
tear
while,
me
man. You are
down.
phenomenal, dude.
Thank
on the
you.
drums.
Thank
Look at that drum set, man. I mean, come on.
I don't actually play it. It just looks.
That's my trophy one right there.
Yeah, I don't play that one. Maybe don't do that.
No, that's the funny
just for
thing
show.
going out to California versus being out here. Like, if you do a bad job at something in the South, like people will give you like the backhanded Southern compliment, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, bless your heart, you guys, you guys got up there and played that show." Versus out there, they'll be like, "No, that was terrible."
Yeah, no, you suck, bro.
Like, they'll tell you, you get it backhanded out here.
Go back to Tejas.
So there one thing I don't think we touched on it, but you were a Grammy nominee.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to, tell us about that.
So that's from my time when I was with Divas. So I mentioned that I
Is
was
that them?
with them for like a year and a
Yeah,
half.
I was looking up Mariachi Divas, by the way. I'm a big mariachi fan. I
Are you
play
really?
mariachi. Yeah. Go check them out if you get a chance. Very easy
Oh,
to
yeah.
look them up.
They're-
You just go to YouTube. You can find
They're
them.
very accessible for like people who don't really know mariachi. Like I think a lot of people just think of mariachi as being like kind of stuffy, like the way they think of classical music. They're very stiff
Yeah,
and like
100%,
but like Divas is not like that. It's a way for people who aren't from that culture or like have never heard mariachi before or really listened to it. It's a way to like kind of make it accessible to them. So they do like a fusion of like mariachi stuff, like traditional mariachi, like and then like with like cumbia and like salsa. We have like a string of like cumbias that will just play for like 10 to 15 minutes, like a long time. That's
Yeah.
a long.
Well, people wanna
15 minutes
dance.
is
That's
long.
what a
yeah.
Cumbia is for, you
And we
know, so,
usually
yeah.
end our concerts with that. So so while I was with Divas, and their albums are all really fun, and their shows, because we're all girls, right? We can be all cutesy and dance, and the guys can't get away with that because they're like. They have that
seen some
machismo concept.
Don't.
The guys are all like, the machismo concept. So like the guy groups don't do that, but the girl groups, we can get away with that. So we did an album of Joan Sebastian because the band leader Cindy Shea, who is, by the way, this is another reason why we get criticized a lot. She's the band leader is like a white Irish Italian lady. And like, so we're a girl group, which goes against us. It's owned by a white lady. and then we're not real mariachi is what people like to say
Right.
because we're fusion, right? But she does a really good job business-wise. and
bit of
so
Irish
See, but I think that's the
Yeah.
whole point of music is that it transcends all boundaries. You know, like it doesn't have. It's pretty much all math.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't have to be. You don't have to
Right.
be black
don't-
to rap. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
And you don't have to
Chinese
be
to make Chinese
Mexican.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
sure.
you do. I think that's
Oh.
Maybe.
If you make Chinese food, I'm not eating
There's
it.
a
I tell you
Chinese food
that.
place in Amarillo. They're all Hispanic. It's called China Star.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I believe I won't go there.
But so she in her career had toured with people like Celia Cruz and Joan Sebastian, and so after Joan Sebastian passed away, she wanted to do a tribute album to Joan Sebastian, and one of the composers that Joan Sebastian worked with a lot was this guy named Rigoberto Alfaro, who is still living, and so
Bless you. By the way.
oh, thank you.
That name sounded like a sneeze.
Rigoberto Alfaro.
Bless you.
And thanks. And then so she got in contact with Rigo, and he was, all for it. So she got him to write new arrangements of songs that Joan Sebastian made famous. And we did an album with him. So I went down to Mexico City, and we recorded instrumentals down there, and then we came back to LA, and we spent a few weeks recording vocals up there. And it was it was my first professional recording experience, and it was just, everything about it was just amazing. It was
I bet
absolutely
it was
awesome.
an experience for sure.
Did y'all
Oh,
go
yeah.
to the Grammys?
We did. Yeah,
I
we
bet
got
that was really cool.
nominated. And so we went to the Grammys, and it was
cool.
But
amazing.
there's like 12 or 14 of y'all in one of the pictures I saw.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it really that big? Like y'all have?
It's really
Yeah,
that big
okay.
because they have so many gigs.
Because mariachi is normally very,
Oh,
small,
yeah.
So.
But we just have so many gigs, and sometimes we have like several gigs at the same time that like we have to have like 2 or 3 groups worth of girls to go
Gotcha.
and play 2 or 3 gigs at the same time.
Gotcha. Makes
And then we
sense.
have
Yeah, makes
Disney,
sense.
and then we have tours, and then we have, the concerts in the park, and then we have Tortilla Joe's in downtown Disney. It's a restaurant that they play every Saturday. So like there
Man,
has to
busy.
be like an army of women
Yeah.
who are available, and as it's amazing how much work she gets. She's able to keep up with. Because sometimes there aren't enough girls available, and we're like calling everywhere. Hey, can you come and we don't want to lose this gig, come and play, and we'll get you a suit and just do your best,
Right.
But it's really amazing. So we went to the Grammys, and Beyonce was freaking there, and like Lady
Wow,
Gaga
yeah.
was there. That was the year that she sang.
Did you meet
with-
anybody you got starstruck with? Like, did you get?
Well, we weren't close enough. We were supposed to be down on the floor, I think. And then it turned out that they gave away too many of the free tickets to the people who, got nominated. And so they had to like move us up to like the nosebleed section. So we were pretty far away, but it was
Still being
still
I always
amazing.
wanted to go
Like
to-
they were right there.
I always wanted to go to the Grammys
think
just
that's
so I
one of
could
the
start a fight with NSYNC. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be
It's
cool
because
to
I
see.
look like Justin Timberlake.
You know
I
that
used
was
to.
my dance move, man.
I feel like Justin Timberlake could probably fight. Like that guy's good at a lot of stuff.
Dude,
He's
I'm a
good at
huge
freaking
Justin Timberlake
everything.
fan.
He's
right there
Like,
with
I like
you,
it.
my
He is
dude.
cool.
If I
Yeah.
could be best friends, one guy.
Yeah,
would be Justin
I'm not
Timberlake.
joking. I'm right there
Yeah,
with you.
he'd wanna
on
be
that.
best
Like,
friends
He's good
with
at
JT.
golf. He's good at
And I would like to
basketball.
jam with him, to be honest, because
That's the
I'm a
thing.
jammer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are, we'll come in here.
I'm just mad he stole my dance moves, man.
Yeah, but we'll come in here and we can be off for like a month or 2 months, and then we come back and it's like we write 5 songs in like 2
That he
hours.
doesn't
built up
remember.
It's
energy.
just
know?
he would definitely be on my list, probably top of the list to be able to jam with.
No doubt.
Like you're a mariachi fan.
Mariachi man,
Man,
bro.
I'm
What are
telling
you
you,
talking
you
about?
get in this camera and you just become this dude I don't know anything about.
It's because you don't care unless the camera's on.
You don't care.
Yeah. So we're getting
Oh,
close
so y'all
to,
need to spend more time in front
Yeah,
of the
they-
camera.
No. We spend
No.
way too much
We
time.
didn't get to that part.
Yeah. Anyway. So we're getting close to time, but I want to ask in closing a question.
Yes,
Sure.
dude.
It all has to end eventually. Mike.
You're the
I'm sorry.
nerd nobody likes.
All right. Well, I'll take it.
I see number 5.
But-
What is the Jeremy experience? Oh, Grammy experience. We covered that. Sorry. Your spelling is so horrible.
That's not even me. That's Michael.
Dude, you know I wrote it like that because he reads it from the board. He reads straight from the board.
So
That was
who
for
is
him.
Jeremy and how was that experience?
It didn't work this time. It usually works.
But in closing, what kind of advice would you guys give to anyone that's trying to enter the Lubbock scene as a musician?
Or any scene.
Ooh.
But, yeah.
That's a toughie, because it depends on like what your background is like. Like, have you taken lessons? Are you really good at learning by ear? I would say, like, if you need lessons, go get lessons. If you don't need lessons, practice a lot.
Right.
Practice makes. Oh, and they say practice makes perfect. It doesn't make perfect necessarily. Nothing makes perfect.
It doesn't exist.
Pancakes.
But practice will get you pretty close, you know. And there's always something to improve on, and network. Networking is really important.
It's really important.
People don't tell you how important, you know, when you're young and studying, like as a classical musician, they don't tell you how important networking is. They just tell you to stick yourself in a box and practice. But you do have to like know people and like chill with people and, you know, make connections and friends, you know, with people who are already in the scene. And that's a really important part of, you know, just kind of getting your foot in the door. If people know you, they'll ask you to do stuff, you know?
It's the classic saying, you know, it's who you know.
Yeah,
you know, a lot
absolutely.
of the time. And you have the skill to back it up even better.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
So,
For sure.
For sure.
Anything else, you guys? No?
Well, thank you guys for being here. I know that y'all have a website, and go ahead and tell us what that is so people listening can tune
Sure.
in.
It's AoE animeband.com.
So make sure y'all check that out. I've looked at it. It's pretty cool. Got some videos on there and get a
Yeah.
little information, maybe some upcoming dates on there for
Yeah.
some shows. So again, but thank you guys so much for being a part of our show. It means a lot
sir.
that y'all just show interest, and you know, this
Yeah.
whole thing's new to us. We're still just trying to get a hold of it, but you know, thank you for being a part of it.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
so much
this was
for
really
having
cool. I
us.
was very excited to see y'all. It was really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again for tuning in, everybody. This is Second Session. Signing off. This is Dan,
Mike.
Steven, and
AoE.
thank you again, guys, and we'll see you soon. All right.